Welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm now joined by football analysts Rajat Agarwal and Tim Kraus to talk about the latest and greatest NFL news. All right, guys, Week 8 is in the books, so let's look back at this past week. Tim, who was your MVP from this past week?
The MVP of this past week has to be, hands down, New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady. Okay. He was fabulous in his game against the Rams in London. Let's look at the stats. He was 23 of 35, threw for 304 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and had a .657 completion percentage and a 98.4 passer rating.
Okay.
Awesome. He was so good.
Tom Brady was good, but look at Peyton Manning and his body of work against the Saints this last weekend. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 305 yards. And what he's done all season, he's built up to this moment, and he's just had
Yes, he has had a very good season thus far, but we're talking about who was the MVP of last week. He played the New Orleans Saints. They have the second worst defense in the NFL. They are second worst in points allowed and yards. The Rams are middle of the pack. They were 14th in yards allowed and 16th. So it was a better opponent, and Tom Brady and his team put up 45 points against the Rams. And he didn't even get to finish the game, Rajat. The Patriots took him out of the game because they were kicking butt.
They took the Saints from start to finish.
Yeah, the Patriots demolished them throughout the entire game.
Both good choices. I don't know who I'd side with. Maybe Lil Brady, but whatever. That's fine. Moving on. We did MVP, so now let's do most disappointing. Rajat, who do you have for this past week?
Without a doubt, you have to go with Phillip Rivers. And what's happening in San Diego is disgusting, especially this week. After blowing the 24-point lead a couple of weeks ago, now this against the Browns, the Chargers lose 7-6. Not able to score a touchdown against the 29th overall defense in the league.
I understand.
That's awful.
And that's a very interesting point, and Rivers and the Chargers have been awful. But for me, the most disappointing person has to be the head coach of the New York Jets, Rex Ryan. What are you doing? Your team was not ready to play against the Miami Dolphins. You lost 30-9. You couldn't even score 10 points in Miami. And you had the game on a silver platter. The Dolphins quarterback got injured. They had to bring in Matt Moore, and he lit them up.
The Browns had one of the worst defenses, and Phillip Rivers has got weapons. He's got Antonio Gates, and he's got a good receiving core.
Rex Ryan, their team, they're slipping away. The Jets are struggling. He might lose his job at the end of the season. You've got to be disappointed.
San Diego, they're definitely losing jobs. Phillip Rivers, North Turner, someone's out of there.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, both good choices, but I kind of have to side with Rajat here. I mean, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. All right, but moving on, the Patriots and Rams played in London this past week. So if you guys were to expand the NFL and put a team overseas, where would you put them? Tim, let's start with you.
I wouldn't put a team anywhere overseas. There's a reason why it's the National Football League and not the International Football League. It just wouldn't work. I mean, they've played 6 years in a row in London, so I guess the obvious choice would be to put a team in London. But they already have football in London. They're obsessed with soccer.
Yeah, but look at it from a money point of view. If you put a team, say, in Ireland, they've got a lot of excitement there. They have a soccer championship every year in Croke Park, which draws about 82,000 people, which is a good size for
I know there's money involved in Ireland, but what division are you going to put them? The nearest opponent is the New England Patriots, who are a 6-hour plane ride away. Are you going to make a team from the West Coast fly to Ireland to play a road game?
Yeah.
I mean, that just wouldn't work.
You have to
the
look
travel
at the money,
cost
the gear,
alone.
the ticket sales, everything would go up.
But you know what you could do, Rajat? Instead of putting a team overseas, you could put the Super Bowl overseas, because it's already at a neutral stadium.
True.
So why not just put that overseas, and you'll get revenue from having the biggest game on earth overseas.
That might be pride, though, Mike, away from the Americans. They want that on home turf.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to side with Tim here. I think football overseas would be about as popular as soccer is here. So we'll see. All right, we have run out of time for this One-on-One Sports webcast, but be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out our content on YouTube at One-on-One Sports.